Deep in the forest, far from the hustle and bustle of the city, we came across an abandoned holiday complex that must have once been full of life. Nestled in a picturesque setting and surrounded by towering pine trees, it seemed like a place where people used to escape from everyday life, enjoy nature, and spend time in the fresh air. Before stepping onto the grounds, we noticed a small newspaper stand near the entrance. Inside, there were a few old newspapers, the most recent one dating back to 2019. This could mean that no one had visited the place since then. The first thing that caught our eye was a cluster of camping cabins, overgrown with ivy and moss covered with age. Each of them had its own charm. Some still had curtains hanging, and on the tables lay small objects left behind years ago. Peering inside, we could easily imagine summer evenings spent by lamplight, late-night conversations, and the laughter of children running around. Nearby, we found an overgrown swimming pool. The water was murky and old, with a thick layer of leaves and silt covering the bottom. Yet, it was easy to picture how children once splashed around here while adults lounged on deck chairs, enjoying the summer sun. Not far from the pool, there was a sports field with metal goalposts still standing, though the nets had long since torn. As we wandered further, we came across an unusual feature of the place: a wooden rabbit hutch. There must have been a mini zoo here, or a spot where children could take care of animals. The hutch now stood empty, but paw prints still marked the walls, and a pile of scattered straw lay in the corner. The largest building in the complex appeared to be a guest house, with several rooms for visitors. Inside, dim light filled the space, and the wooden floors creaked beneath our feet. The air was thick with the scent of dampness and aged wood. In one of the rooms, we found a fallen chair and an open book, as if someone had paused their reading and never returned. The dining hall still held wooden tables and chairs, and old photographs hung on the walls, memories of past guests. There was also a small children's playhouse on the premises. Its colorful walls, though faded, hinted at a place once full of joy and laughter. A few plastic toys were scattered on the floor, and on one of the walls, someone had painted smiling snowmen and a teddy bear. Perhaps children had spent entire summer days here, playing house or inventing their own adventures. The entire area had a camping atmosphere. There were remnants of bonfires and grills, which must have once warmed up evenings filled with music and conversation. Now, the silence was almost unnatural, broken only by the occasional song of birds. It was hard to believe that just a few years ago, this place had been so full of life. We don't know the full history of this complex. Maybe it was shut down due to financial struggles, or perhaps other circumstances led to its abandonment. One thing was certain: it had seen its glory days, but it still held a unique charm, as if it was waiting for someone to bring it back to life. Before leaving, we peeked into one last camping cabin. There was something magical about it, as if for a brief moment, echoes of the past came to life. But soon, silence returned, and with a mix of nostalgia and fascination, we moved on, leaving the place just as we had found it: mysterious and full of memories. As we followed the path leading out, we spotted more buildings, hidden behind a wall of trees. Peering through a broken window, we saw long wooden benches still in place, with old posters on the walls depicting landscapes and camping rules. On one of the tables, there was a cup with dried-up tea inside, as if someone had planned to return but never did. We couldn't shake the feeling that this place had a soul. Every corner told the story of the people who had once been here, laughing, singing around the campfire, and cherishing summer days. Perhaps the owners had to abandon it suddenly, leaving everything as it was. Or maybe there were simply no more visitors to keep the traditions alive. Before stepping away for the last time, we turned back for one final look. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and pine needles, and the silence was almost tangible. If walls could talk, they would tell hundreds of stories. But all we could do was guess, leaving the mysteries of this place untouched. The abandoned holiday complex stayed in our thoughts long after we left. It had witnessed countless joyful moments, and now, wrapped in silence, it waited for someone to breathe life into it once more. Perhaps one day, someone will light a campfire again, dive into a restored pool, and fill the forest paths with laughter once more.